So recently, I held a board game night, and as is common with most board game nights, when I invite new people in to join me, is I have to fight for their attention, fight between their phone, they're constantly checking their phone for text, and the game we're trying to play. And this night started off as every other night, a constant battle between the phone and the game. But as the night progressed, it slowly turned into them focusing on the game, and they were checking their phones less and less, to the point where they started outright ignoring text messages, right? And one of them got a call, and then he quickly got up, answered as fast as he could, and slammed the phone down because he wanted to get back into the game. At that point, I knew I had succeeded, and they had fallen for the board games. And I was really excited because now I had some new converts to play board games with me. So today, what I'm going to quickly run over are some styles of board game play, some themes for board games, and ratings for board games, and different ways to find board games that you would enjoy. So, for styles of play, some of the most common styles that you can play board games are turn-based and free-for-all. So everyone has their individual turn, and they're all out to get each other, right? Each for their own man. But those aren't all the styles of play there are. And I'm going to briefly go into a few of the styles of play that are some of my favorites. Like role-playing. One of the most classic examples of role-playing is D&D, where you get to create your own character, you get to create his background, and then get to dive in and live the character in a world of your own creation. It's utterly fascinating, and it's so much fun to play. Another one of my favorite games is simultaneous action. So instead of each individual turn, now everyone is playing at the same time. A good example of this is a really simple card game called Sushi Go, where everyone is trying to build a plate of sushi at the same time. Yes, it's really entertaining. And then, last but not least, my third favorite style of play is cooperative play. So there's a game called Pandemic, where all the players are kind of researchers and scientists trying to discover the cure for a pandemic that's slowly ravaging the world. So in cooperative style, you usually everyone's teaming up for a common goal. And generally it's against the board game itself. So that's another one of my favorites. Instead of everyone beating each other up, we're all working together. So now I'm going to move into themes of board games. And so one of my more favorite themes is economic board games. So that's where you're managing production of resources, managing distribution of resources, managing how resources are distributed, right? And some examples of that are Settlers of Catan, Power Grid, and Puerto Rico. And that's all just into, like I said, economic. You're working with an economy, you're trying to develop an economy. Another one of my favorites is warmongering, which is just building a bunch of armies and smacking other people down, trying to be king of the hill. Classic, but it's a whole lot of fun. And then gambling. Yes, that's a style of board game. Because poker technically counts as a board game. Card games are board games. But there are other games that involve gambling, like Lords of Vegas ends up involving where you can bet all the money you have on hand against another player to potentially see if you can win against the house and either screw that player or end up screwing yourself. Doesn't always work well. And so then we go into rating systems. And through all my research, there isn't a common rating system of like a 5-star or a 4-star. There are some common things that appear on boxes, like recommended age to play, number of people to play, and estimated time that it would take to play. But if you're looking for a rating of an actual game, you're not generally going to find it on the game itself. And that's where playthroughs come in. So online is a bunch of YouTube channels and people who go and play through games. One of the more popular ones is Tabletop, which is where a bunch of celebrities go and play games and review games, and they have complete walkthroughs on how to play games. It's a lot of fun to watch that. And another common way to find information about games is there's plenty of online forums. Way too many online forums. With a lot of people who are completely willing to speak their mind. So, gotta be careful there. And so, in conclusion, there's so many games, so many styles, so many themes that if you have an inkling of a game that you want to play, you're probably going to find it without a problem. And for me, I've played thousands of games by now, if not more, to the point where I've probably only ever won a third of all the games I've ever played. A third, not even a majority of all the games I've played. So that's made me come upon the realization that I love games for the people I'm with, for the experiences, because it's so much fun to lose yourself in a kind of an alternate reality that the games provide. And so I hope this little speech has provided a spark of interest, and you'll go and search out for your own games, because you never know what you'll find. Thank you.